Alright, so this video is bound to get a lot of backlash from the hardcore milsim crowd, and I know you guys are really dogmatic, and you're really authoritative, and you're really mean. You're mean to me, okay? Yes, I am a more casual gamer, but I have dabbled in the Arma. I enjoy Squad, I enjoy Insurgency, and Rising Storm and Red Orchestra. So please, do not crucify me yet. I like doing these for the sake of discussion videos. I'm not telling you guys facts here. I'm not telling you guys objective truths. I'm starting a dialogue. A lot of my videos are just that. I want to start a dialogue, and when I don't make that clear, it comes off like I'm trying to be an authority on my opinion, and that's not a good thing to do. My opinion is not fact, so go into this video knowing that. Alright, so now that that's out of the way, let's piss people off. I think games like Squad or Battlefield, or games that have larger teams or more elements of realism or team play, are actually requiring less skill on the part of the individual. Now, what you probably just heard is that Battlefield, Squad, and Arma, and games like that are easy, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they take less individual skill. And think about it, it's simple numbers. If you have a match of 50 versus 50 people, it's 100 people. Your individual skill means a hell of a lot less when there's 49 other people to pick up the slack. You might be the best out of the 50 people on your team, but that usually won't win you a game of 100 players. Also, games that are more team-oriented like Battlefield or Squad are generally more based on completing tasks, not directly crushing your enemies. And so what I'm about to say here is going to probably irritate a lot of you, but I honestly think Call of Duty takes more skill than those games.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class! Do you believe in a flying spaghetti monster too, bubblehead?
If you hop into a match of Call of Duty, you might find that the gunplay is simpler, the maps are easier to remember, and overall it's an easier experience. But why does an easier experience, in my opinion, take more skill? And again, this is mostly where the edges of my thoughts are going, and this is not exactly fact. But the way I see it, even if the game is easy, it's easy for everyone. If it's easy to get a kill, it's easy for everyone to get a kill, meaning it's easier for you to die. Of course, that doesn't factor in netcode problems, which creates a weird irregularity between time to kill and time to die and all of those things. We're going to negate that and talk about games as they are and not, unfortunately, how they're perceived by most people in various situations. Meaning some people have really bad internet for gaming and they think that all games lag, but some games are better on their connection than others, and there's so many subjective things to go through, and we're just gonna stick to my subjective things and unfortunately not yours yet. So the thing is, if a game is very easy to play, it's easy for everyone to play, meaning it's also easy for your opponents. And in a game where it's 6 versus 6 in a 12-player match, it's more likely that things are gonna fall on your shoulders and not just your teammates. In Battlefield, when I have 31 other people that I can count on, I feel a little bit more confident in maybe screwing around. Also, I might just devote myself to a support role or guarding role. You know, bipoding an LMG at a flag and making sure no one touches it. It's not a useless task, and it doesn't take no skill, but it's at its core a task. When games are more simplified and they don't allow you to toss ammo and health and set up bipods and giving you multiple objectives to go through or destructible environments, a game like Call of Duty for instance, there's only really one objective. Even if there are flags or bombs, it's about taking down your opponent. And in respawn game modes, in Call of Duty, it's about consistently taking on your opponents. Yes, getting a kill is easy, but getting 20 kills without dying in a game where it's easy to kill is the hard part. Whenever I play Squad, the reason I like it is that I'm not told to go off and kill everybody on an objective. My squad and I move up. I do things for my squad. I help build things. I help place things. I drive the trucks. I do the things. Alright, that's a little vague, but what I mean is I'm completing tasks. I'm not dominating my opponent, I'm completing tasks that aid our domination of the opponent. In Call of Duty, there are very few tasks to complete, and this also, in my opinion, goes for games like Halo and Destiny and Doom and any other arena shooter that usually takes place with 4v4 or 6v6. They usually have smaller maps, they require more immediate reaction times and a memorization of the map layout and time to kill. Now, some of you are probably hearing this as me saying there's no such thing as a skilled Squad, Arma, Insurgency, or Battlefield player, and that could not be farther from the truth. A skilled player is going to be a bigger asset for their team at all times, But is skill necessarily required on your part to win a match of Squad or Battlefield? Probably not. Many hands make short work, and those games usually have more varied tasks to complete that don't all require the same amount of skill. For instance, I had a friend in Battlefield that was terrible at winning gunfights, terrible at locking down lanes, terrible at sniping, LMGs, and everything, but the one thing he was really good at was flying helicopters. He could fly a helicopter and drop us off at an objective, and then leave, come back, pick us up again, and we go to objective to objective to objective throughout Battlefield 3, and he was also helpful in Battlefield 4. I also had a friend I liked playing with because sometimes he would just sit on a hill and spot everybody. I also had a friend that wasn't really good at gun skill, but he always played support class and always made sure we had ammo when we played with him in our squad. And then games like Squad have way more tasks to complete than just throwing down health, ammo, spotting, or flying helicopters, and so the list for that game would be much longer. What I'm saying is that when you play those team games, maybe one of the reasons you like it is that it's not all on your shoulders. It's a team-based game. It's about completing tasks and objectives to eliminate your opponent, whereas in games like Call of Duty, Halo, Doom, Destiny, or other arena-based shooters with smaller teams, more of your individual ability to aim, shoot, map knowledge, play the objective, run the flag, that comes down to the wire. A team of 4 people in Halo having one bad teammate is a much bigger detriment than having 10 bad teammates in a match of Battlefield. Why do you think in Call of Duty you can carry every single match and still lose every single match? It's because if 1 out of 6 people is doing well, then you have a much higher chance of losing. Whereas in Battlefield, though I have been in matches where it feels like 1 out of 32 people are actually doing their job, that's less common, and again, those people don't have as much on their shoulders, and they can usually focus on more menial tasks. Also, let's focus on the fact that in games that I just mentioned, you can completely avoid combat or direct combat throughout the entire match. I'm not saying it's easy all the time, but my god, I've played whole Battlefield matches without a death, because I was just going around the outskirts and walking around and wandering. Whereas in Call of Duty or Destiny, if I was to take a sip of soda while still being alive in the game, by the time I set the cup down, it's likely that I would have died once or twice. It's an over-exaggeration, and I know a lot of you hardcore milsim players or Battlefield players think that games like that are for people with ADHD and they're children's games. Not in my opinion. I think that's totally off base. The thing is that the games I listed, like COD and Halo and things of that sort, they require more individual skill. They require the ability to adapt to a new situation, even if it's not as varied of a situation. It might just be someone laying down or having a power weapon or holding a power position. But you have to adapt to it constantly and with consistent performance in order to win. Not to say that unexpected things don't happen in Squad and Battlefield. After a long time of playing games like that, I know it does, but is it as immediate? Are they unavoidable? That's the thing, is I think they're avoidable and they're not as immediate or as constant. So in a Battlefield match, you might get a high score on the board from throwing down ammo or throwing RPGs at tanks from a distance. You might get a lot of points from spotting people, though not really hitting any of the ones you're spotting. Squad, you might just be told to complete a series of tasks, building things for your squad members, driving trucks back and forth to gather supplies. In fact, in one of the matches I was playing on Squad, my squad leader told me to sit in a machine gun and watch a bridge that he was worried people were going to cross. Did that take a lot of skill on my part, to watch a bridge for movement? No, it really didn't. It was important, and I knew that it was important because I've played on that map and I've seen people flank from that bridge, so I watched it anyway. But I think people gravitate towards games where they have to watch a bridge with a machine gun, or maybe stay behind and deliver supplies, or throw the ammo down every time you see the icon over your teammates' heads. People may gravitate towards that more because the idea of the match coming down to your abilities directly every time, yeah, maybe that doesn't work for people that just aren't as good. If you're not good in Battlefield, don't worry, there's 31 other people on the team. If you're not good in Halo, you're one of 4. Fuck you. You're gonna piss people off if 1/4 of the entire team isn't operating properly. So a while back when I was playing Battlefield way more often, I was getting way better at it. I used to be heavily relied upon by my squad because I no-lifed the hell out of Battlefield and they could really rely on me. My skills really helped our team win, and I'd usually be up in the top of the leaderboards each time. I was absolutely no slouch. And it feels great, or even more satisfying in games like Squad, to pull off something as an individual that helps the entire match. Those happen, though they're not required. Smaller teams, faster gameplay really does rely on you and each person in your team to perform properly. Or you can be like my friends in the last 3 Call of Duty games and make me carry you every time. It's not that hard, it's just relentless. And that's really the thing, is that the games I'm mentioning, like Halo and COD, are relentless. They are ruthless and relentless, but easier. Whereas games like Arma and Battlefield and Squad, which are of course one of the things in there are not a milsim, they're harder. But less ruthless, less unforgiving. And maybe that's why people enjoy them. They don't feel like the weight of the match is on their shoulders. They feel like they can take a support role and be useful. I think that's why a lot of people play healers in Overwatch. It's not up to them to win gunfights and clear objectives. It's up to them to keep their teammates that might be better than them in the fight. But of course, there are tons of variables in the games I'm mentioning. There are tons of events and experiences I've had and you've had. Nothing can be quantified, in my opinion. Nothing can be quantified as having no skill or a lot of skill. It's too subjective, and there's too many variables and too many different experiences and too many people that would argue with you depending on what you said. That's why this video is for the sake of discussion. These are where the edges of my thoughts are going. These are the places I think, but I don't know. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't chew me out, don't call me stupid. I hate it when I make a video and I say, hey, here's an idea. What if I'm right about this? Or what if this is a real thing? And then someone comes along and says, well, fuck you, you're wrong and stupid and I hate you. This is for the sake of discussion. So please discuss down below and I'll chime in where I feel necessary. Thank you guys so much for watching. I haven't done a longer video like this in a bit and it feels pretty good. See you when I see ya. Goodbye.